Welcome back. This is day 4 of my new system, which I think is working out so far. At least it's ensuring that I do consistent things every day instead of haphazardly choosing what I'm going to do every day. What I'm going to do first is analyze my rapid game from Lichess last night. And I ended up doing 3 of them because in this first one, I played c4 and my opponent just waited 30 seconds or whatever that time is, and then the game aborted. Then I played another one, and in that one I had the black pieces. And again, I just waited 30 seconds or 25, whatever it is. My opponent never made a move, and that game aborted as well. I almost decided not to play one after that, but I went ahead and tried one more, and in that one, I moved and my opponent moved, and we ended up having a game. As you can see from the graph, I think you can see the whole thing here in the graph. I did end up winning this game, but I had a blunder here fairly early, and hopefully I'll be able to learn something from that. You can see in the move list what the move was that I made the blunder on, and it lists there, if your screen is large enough, what I should have played. I'm going to try not to look at that. I don't know of a way to not show that in the move list, so when I try to figure out what I should have played without looking, it can get a little difficult. Sometimes I'm going to look over there by accident, but anyway, I'll do my best. I did open with c4 once again. I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with this, although I still haven't, studied more than just a handful of, first few moves here. My opponent responded in expected ways. We played out to about, let's see, I don't know if I should have taken that pawn or not. I can't look at the move list because I don't want to see where I messed up. Okay, I did take the pawn and the graph doesn't change here. You can see we're almost at the point of my blunder. My thinking was, and I don't think I thought about this very long, but just out of habit, I thought, one of the whole reasons for having this pawn here rather than a D or an E pawn is that it's controlling a center square without actually being a center pawn, right? And so if they ever do play D5, I can exchange this flank pawn for the center pawn. That was my idea. Obviously, they can take back with either the knight or the queen, but they don't have a center pawn. So I thought that would be good for me. And it turns out that it was, according to the graph. And then my opponent took back with the knight. And again, trying not to look at the move list, but I think I took back here. Should I have just left it? I mean, my knight's safe enough, I guess. And then I'm going to have another c-pawn if they take me. They don't have to, obviously. Their knight's protected by the queen. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that what I did was take, and then they took back. Oh, okay. All right, so what I have to do here is play bishop to g2 is my guess. Is what I should have played is bishop to g2. That way, if they take me, I take back, and I've got my bishop here ready to go. Can probably play e3, get the knight out behind that pawn, and then castle. Okay, I'm going to look over there. Okay, bishop to g2 was best. I just had to think about it here. I did take back. Okay, how long did I spend on that? I spent 1 second on that. Okay, well, I am still trying to learn to slow down a little bit in these. One thing that I have done, and a couple of you might have noticed, because some of you have mentioned you've gone to my profile on either chess.com or Lichess, and you've seen, the number of Blitz games that I was playing, but you haven't seen that in the past few days. I haven't been playing Blitz. When I do have those moments throughout the day where I just have enough time for a Blitz game and I have my phone handy, instead of playing a Blitz game, I've either been playing against a bot or trying to solve a puzzle. And so hopefully over time that should, reinforce the idea that I need to slow down a little bit, especially in positions that I'm unfamiliar with. I think if I had taken longer than 1 second here, I would have, realized what I just now realized is if they take there, I can take back and that I can leave the knight alone. And I should have definitely seen that if I took them, they're going to be aiming at my rook. And then I guess I would have to play that pawn there to protect the rook. But then they're going to play this pawn. But yeah, let's see if that's what it definitely says. Oh, actually, knight to f3 would have been just fine too. That would be targeting their undefended pawn. And it says that they would, want to defend it this way. d3 would have been okay here as well, which I suppose, keeps that pawn from moving forward. I think I got it. But yeah, I took and they took back, and then, I realized, oh no, my rook's hanging, and knight to f3 is my best move here. That's what I played, even though I knew that they could come this way. Wait, back up? Sorry, that's knight to f3, right? Think Stockfish may be having a fit or some sort of problem here. It says it's -2, even if I play my best move. And I did play my best move, but now it says it's 0.9. Okay, should I back up again and see if it still says 0.2? I mean 2.0? It does. It still says 2.0. Can I make that go longer? I don't know why it's only on 16 megabytes. Should I increase that? Also, I don't know what threads means. What does that pop-up say? Set this below your CPU's thread count. I don't know what my CPU's thread count is. I should probably find that out, huh? Okay, I do have it set on 5 lines. Can I raise this memory? Does that help any? I don't know. But 23 is the depth that it went to, and it doesn't look like I can get it to go any deeper than that. Oh, I can change the Stockfish 16 to a 40 megabyte version, but I don't know what difference it would make. Okay, well that's confusing to me, that it says it's -2. If I play my best move, I played my best move, but now it's minus 0.9, which for me is within the realm of even. I think I've mentioned before, in my mind, I count -1 to +1 as about even. Unless you're getting really close to the end game, sometimes, the +1 or -1 is enough, because usually it means you have an extra pawn. Okay, and it definitely says that their best move is to challenge the knight, which is what I thought they would play, which now I'm thinking about that. Why would I have played this thinking they could do that? I guess if they did, I could always put the knight out there, but they didn't play that or any of those. They got a piece out, I guess, thinking I was attacking that pawn. And now we're even if I play d3, which I think keeps the pawn from moving forward. But now that I've got this knight out, I went ahead and put the bishop behind it, thinking now wherever I move the knight, the queen's under threat. Again, their best move is e4, and again, I would hop the knight out this way. But again, they didn't play it. I guess, they got worried about this bishop pointed at their queen, even though the bishop's not defended. I can't hop the knight out right now because then they could just take the bishop. But they got worried about that and moved the queen over there. And I took that as my cue to castle. Once I've got these pieces out, I'm going to castle. It's not my best move. Queen a4 is my best move. It says they would come forward one, and then I would castle. Okay, well, I just went ahead and castled. Now my king is safe. My opponent is also ready to castle because they've given up the knight over here. But they played their best move here, which is knight to c6. And now we're about even. Again, I should play a4 or d3. They're hopping back and forth there. I played e3. Let me back up. Okay, I think d3 makes more sense since I have this dark squared bishop here and it can get out somehow. Not sure why I played e3. I think I played e3 because I have been playing e3, but that made sense back when the knight was still here and the knight could hop in. It makes more sense to play d3 now. That blunts the queen's attack, lets the dark squared bishop out, keeps that pawn from moving forward. That makes sense to me. So this does not anymore. Again, they're supposed to play e4 and they didn't. They got the other bishop out. So I think despite my opponent and I having mistakes so far, I mean, I had a blunder, it said. Mine was a blunder and theirs was a mistake and an accuracy. But that mistake was enough to take us back to even. But I think that's because Stockfish messed up there. Yeah, I don't think it was ever -2 if that next move put us at -1 and, those were the best moves. But anyway, my opponent and I were playing on, I think, fairly equal terms. They've got all their pieces developed. They're ready to castle in either direction. I've got one more piece that I need to get out, and I should play d4 now. Or rook to e1. It's almost as good. That's what I played. The engine thinks for some reason that they brought their dark squared bishop out too far and they should put it back here on e7. Don't know why. Or they should start shooting forward with the h pawn or even the f pawn. I don't understand those moves, but I also don't understand what my opponent played. I think if I had been my opponent, I would have castled, and it looks like that's one of their top 5 moves that's rated about the same. It's probably what I would have done had I been playing with the black pieces at this point, but they went out there. d4 would have worked for me. I don't know if I considered that or not. I think here I was worried and I started playing slowly because I wasn't sure what they were after. Maybe I thought this knight was coming in this way, so I just, put the pawn here to keep that from happening. Of course, that means the pawn's not where it was anymore. My opponent immediately saw that and dropped this bishop in here to aim at my rook. Well, that gave me a chance to develop my bishop, which I had been wanting to do. I didn't know I was ahead here. I put the bishop here. Obviously if they take, I'll take. Now moving the bishop there did undefend this pawn that I had just moved, and only the queen was defending it. But of course, if they take that pawn, then I'll get their bishop, right? They take here, I'll take there, and I think that would have worked out for me. Their best move is to take the bishop, but instead they put another attacker on the pawn, which means I can take their bishop, but I didn't. Oh, wow. Okay, well, just now I thought that made a lot of sense. Because if I take there and they take back, the queen's no longer defending this pawn, and I can take that pawn from whence I will be defending this pawn. Wow. Okay, well, I saw that now, but I didn't see it then. I pointed this bishop at the queen. I'm still very slightly ahead. They took the bishop and I took back. Now here, it took me a while to figure out why they played b6, but I think the idea is that they wanted to move their queen out of this line, but they didn't want their knight to be undefended, right? Because right now my queen's hitting their knight, but their queen's protecting it. And if they move their queen someplace, back here or something like that, I get their knight for free. So I think that's why they moved this. I didn't understand it at the time, but like a move or two later, I realized that's why they had done it. d4 is my best move here. That's the whole reason I put this bishop down here. And so I played d4. They have to move their queen and they put it right in front of the pawn. Well, I thought, why not push another pawn, right? Because my knight and my queen are defending this one, so this one can come forward, and that means their queen has to move again. That's what we did, and their queen has to move again. Oh, and it says b4 is my best move now? Well, just now, before I looked at what I actually played, I thought what I played here was pushing this pawn forward. That turns out to, d5 turns out to be my third best move. But what I actually played wasn't any of that. I checked over here. Well, they can just block that with the pawn, can't they? We're almost back to even now. How much time did I spend on that? Wow, I spent 16 seconds. That's about twice as long as I normally spend on a move here. What was I thinking what was I going to do if they blocked with the pawn? I don't know, but they didn't. They moved their king out of check. Well, then I played what I think I should have played the previous turn, which was d5, coming after their bishop. It says they would have been fine if they had just played f6. Well, no, not fine. I'm ahead. Wait, when did I go ahead? Oh, the king. Moving the king was their blunder. Because we were about even if they had played here, and it says I should have just brought it back at that point. But wait, if I had done that, they would have taken this pawn. Okay, well, it's a good thing they blundered here. I probably wouldn't have played the best move. But yeah, because they did that. Wait, d5 is not anywhere, so d5 should be 2 plus 2.3 or worse. Okay, it was 2.2. What I don't understand is that their best move is f6. And it says if they played f6, I would play b4. In fact, almost no matter what they do, I'm going to play b4. What I thought they were going to do here is drop this bishop back, and I was going to trade for it. But instead, they jumped it over here, and well, the knight's undefended. So what did I do? How did I defend that knight? Oh, wow. I found the best move. How much time did I spend on this? I've got to know. According to the clock here, I spent 20 seconds on this. I don't know if I did or not, and I know sometimes the clocks on the app, when I'm playing on the app, I'm pretty sure they're a little sketchy. In fact, sometimes I know they are. Sometimes I've pre-moved, and it'll still take 10 or 15 seconds off my clock, so I don't know if that's an internet connection thing or what, but it says I spent 20 seconds finding this. I'm pretty sure things that I considered, including moving the knight out of danger, moving a piece back to protect the knight. I don't know if I considered this one or not, queen to e3 to protect the knight, but I do remember thinking about the checklist, the puzzles checklist, checks, captures, and threats. And I thought if I check here, they can't block with this bishop because bishops don't move that way. They can get out of check, they can block with the pawn, they can block with the queen, and in all those cases, I'll win the bishop. So that's why that was a blunder to go out there when I challenged it with the pawn. But that doesn't explain why they couldn't have just dropped back here. It says if they had, I would have taken, and they would have taken with the king, and then I still would have played queen to g5. I don't know why I would have if their king was over there. But anyway, since they moved here, I'm glad I saw this. I felt pretty good about it. It looked like they couldn't save the bishop. So I checked here. Their best move is to block with the queen, which they did, and my best move is to take the bishop. So now I'm a piece ahead. And I pretty much coasted through the rest of the game. I mean, there were tense moments, but... Oh, that was inaccurate? Okay. Well, I took a pawn. I checked with this pawn, and that's where my opponent resigned because I was going to win the rook once they got out of check. Okay, and I want to take one more look at my blunder here just to see, make sure I understand what was going on. Yeah, I definitely understand that. Okay. Well, thank you for spending your time here. If you saw something that I missed, feel free to leave it in the comments as always. And yes, I do know that now I'm putting out about 2 videos a day, but that's better than one every other day, isn't it? And also it's ensuring that I'm actually doing something to get better at chess. I'll see you next time.